With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Coming up this hour, Pauly sees some similarities in a big matchup tonight in the NBA. Also between what happened last year in the Packers-49ers playoff game, a game that we have coming up this weekend, and some of the best teams in the country in college basketball are playing tonight, and they are tremendous at going over the total. We'll talk about that and our best bets for tonight and moving forward as well. We are efforting Lou Finocchiaro to talk UFC 311 coming up here in a second to get his best bets on the card. I wanted to ask him if this number on the main event has gotten maybe a little bit too high, and we do have Lou as we speak. Lou Finocchiaro joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Sure great to be with you. Happy football's winding down so we can get some UFC coverage.
Great job, by the way, going back to the summertime with your win totals with us.
Thank you so much. It was a really, really good NFL season, although for the first 6 weeks, I felt like I was walking with a red-tipped cane. I couldn't find a winner.
Yeah, well, I think that it went that way for a lot of people who bet this stuff for a living. So what do you think in the main event now? Has this number on the favorite gotten a little bit too high?
Gentlemen, after a 70.5% rate of favorites last year, the marketplace has attacked this fight card. 14 fights, 8 of the favorites have been hammered profusely. And you ask about the main event, Makhachev opens minus 217. Now he's anywhere from 280 to 3.25, and that's a modest increase. So there's a lot of the market that just is believing that these favorites are going to continue to tsunami their way through January, February, and March. And while I'm a dog player, I must respect that 70.5% rate. And to answer the question on Makhachev at 370, that's too high, even though without question, he's the pound for pound best fighter alive right now.
26-1, absolutely. How about your write-up on VSiN.com on the main event and the co-main that you think they can go the distance, even though they're heavily juiced over 4.5 rounds?
I do believe they'll go the distance. If the co-main does not go the distance, Umar will finish Dvalishvili. I think Dvalishvili is a little emotional for this fight, and emotions don't work well in sports. As far as the main event is concerned, Volkanovski, who fought Makhachev twice in the first fight they competed in, Volkanovski took Makhachev to a decision. And Poirier, in Makhachev's last fight, almost made it to decision. This young man, Arman Tsarukyan, he's coming to win. He's got everything Makhachev has, except maybe some experience, length, and height.
How about an interesting prop you have on Nurmagomedov? Where'd you find this? This is unique.
This is the co-main event for Umar Nurmagomedov, and if you look at him, his price against champion Dvalishvili, Umar opened minus 170. Now he's minus 285, 295. Wherever you're shopping. And Dvalishvili sawed through the whole bantamweight division. He did not want to fight Nurmagomedov this early and in his first title defense. The UFC coerced him into doing it. Everyone knows that. Now, with that being said, Umar Nurmagomedov minus 285, that's pretty prohibitive. However, if you look in the future sections of DraftKings, you can find who would be as a future position, who will be the champion 12/31 of 25, meaning the end of this year. Umar Nurmagomedov minus 120. guys, I don't want to overstate it, but that's like stealing. I believe he beats Davalishvili, who's the top bantamweight in the division. Everyone else they give him will be crumbs, and I think that if he wins this fight, he ends up the champion still at the end of the year.
How many more fights do you think he would have by the end of the year?
How many more fights would he have?
Yeah.
Probably 2, Mitch. That's a good question. Probably 2 fights.
But you didn't see anybody that would be in that division that would touch him?
No one wants to fight him. The guy can't get a fight.
Yeah.
Excellent find. Great find. So, yep, over 4.5 in the main, lean on vsin.com, and over 4.5 in the Magomedov fight as well. How about De Ridder against Holland? De Ridder 18-2, and about $1, even money in that range, $1.20. Take it away with that fight.
De Ridder is new to the organization, has only had one fight, primarily a world-class grappler. However, most of his career was spent at 205 pounds. He fights a guy in Kevin Holland who's relatively well-rounded, but not as versed on the ground as De Ridder. Holland needs this fight upright. He needs distance to be able to use his athleticism and his length and his pitter-patter striking. De Ridder will have to get in and get a hold of him and get him to the ground one way or another. Holland has been teeter-tottering between 185 and 170 and has found most of his success in the UFC at 170 pounds. He takes this fight at 185, and De Ridder, a 205er, takes the 85 as a bigger man dropping down. Fight night, De Ridder will be much the larger man, although he may not be the quicker man. I think this fight is designed to make De Ridder look good. The UFC has a company man in Holland that just says yes. He's not interested in championships, belts, titles, accolades. He's interested in money. He just wants to fight. I like De Ridder here, close to a pick. All
right, follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Lou Finocchiaro. He's on X at GamLou. His write-ups are at vsin.com for all of the UFC cards, and this is the 311 card that we're talking about. Okay, state your case here for a dog as Tagir Ulanbekov takes on Clayton Carpenter.
This is the first fight of the night, so let's not sleep on this one. And Tagir Ulanbekov is from the Khabib team. So Makhachev and Umar Nurmagomedov are teammates of his. However, he is not as pedigreed a fighter as is his 2 other countrymen, all Dagestanis. Ulanbekov's been relatively inactive. He's fought through some slug, through some injuries. He's a long, tall drink of water, and he's just not the same kind of fighter that the other guys are. He's drafting on his team a little bit. And as we start to see American wrestlers competing with Dagestani wrestlers, there's a tremendous rivalry going there. And what do we have in Clayton Carpenter? We have a savant, world-class American wrestler. He's not as long and tall as Ulanbekov. He's a little shorter and more squat, giving away some experience, but he's had 2 great initial UFC bouts that he shined in. He's completely ready for this fight. And this is a PhD in MMA fight where the student, I think, is going to school Ulanbekov, who isn't quite of the ilk the rest of the Dagestani wrestlers are. Clayton Carpenter's ready for this fight.
Okay, so anything around plus 260?
I'd say Clayton Carpenter plus 225 or higher, and that'll cover everything. We released him Monday on the Sneak Teep podcast at minus 275.
Okay, beautiful. Excellent.
Almeida, 21-3, $4. I know you're not going to mess with that. What's inside the distance pay?
Yeah, you're darn right. I'm not going to mess with no $4 price on Almeida, especially after he opened like 198. But I do like inside the distance. He fights a guy from Moldova, Sergey Spivak. They call him the polar bear, and a polar bear is faster than Sergey Spivak is. Spivak looks like Nosferatu, and he moves like evolution, very slow. And Almeida is a guy that fought at 205 pounds, and just like Umar Nurmagomedov, no one would fight this guy. So he said, I'll get fights. He moves to heavyweight. He fought at 215, then 225. He'll be 240 or 245 for this fight, but he's faster, he's quicker, he's more explosive, And I do believe he'll get this job done before 3 rounds is over.
Okay. Of all the bets that you've talked about so far, do you have a best bet, or are they all pretty much the same?
Clayton Carpenter. I'm hanging my hat on Clayton Carpenter.
I love it.
Good job.
Okay.
Good job. How much do you like Hill against Yuri?
I like Hill against Yuri a little bit. I'm not a Hill fan.
Uh-huh.
I believe that there are holes in his game. However, the holes in his game are less than Yuri's holes. And Yuri's holes is that he's got no defense. He carries his arms low. We saw what Pereira did to him twice. If Hill can look impressive against Prochaska, he gets a good shot at trying to face Pereira again. And that's a different fight. But I think Hill's up for Prochaska here.
All right, pal.
All right.
So it was a solid NFL season for you after about week 6, divisional round. What do you like?
Until you flash that Mixon news, I was leaning a little bit Houston. And if that news allows the line to move up, I'll stay with them.
Okay.
I like the under in Philadelphia in the Rams a little bit. And I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. If that team gets behind, either he, because he's unable to be a pocket quarterback, or that offensive coordinator, Monken, who spit up all over his shirt last year, will find a way to choke that thing away. I think it's Buffalo, and I like them a good deal.
Wow. Okay, we're on opposite sides there. You can follow Lou on X. He is at GamLou. Excellent appearance as always. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Good to talk to you.
There you go. He was on the Progressive guest line. All right, I'm going to rush to bet Carpenter during the break. That's a huge plus price.
Over 2.5 minus 240. The ladies fight's $5. Over 4.5 minus 250 in the Nurmagomedov fight. Makachev minus $2 in some spots. And there's another big one too with the round prop as well. How about what he said on Almeida? $1.80 to $4.15.
How about that? Yeah. Pauly sees some similarities in this matchup when you compare it to the Packers 49ers playoff game a year ago.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, Hotshot, your call now. There's a game on the board this weekend that's reminding you of the Packers and 49ers a year ago. Which one is it?
Commanders-Lions. We have the home team, the team that's supposed to go to the Super Bowl, as a big favorite, and maybe they come out rusty. And, the Packers had the great performance, would love to blow out Dallas in the previous game, and they come in, and Green Bay should have won that game, right? And somehow the 49ers, even though they were rusty, pulled it out and made all the plays down the stretch. Now already an offensive lineman has been ruled out for Detroit. But you're going to get Montgomery back, and Arnold's back as well. But it may be the issues we've talked about with stopping mobile quarterbacks. A team that has only been blown out, lost by double digits once, and it was week 1 against Tampa. Yeah. And now that's what I'm asking Detroit to do here on Saturday night. So I see some similarities between the Green Bay-San Francisco game that could happen Saturday night in Detroit, and that the dog could keep it close, and this could be a game in the fourth quarter. And do we still question Detroit's defense because of how bad Darnold then played? Which, are we really going to give them credit for how well they played Sunday night, even though Darnold was horrific against the Rams again?
Yeah, people have asked me that question.
Your answer?
I don't know, man. Like, Darnold was not good, but the Lions' game plan was fantastic in that spot.
Yeah.
They had the answer for everything.
But this guy will take off and burn you, though.
Kevin O'Connell completely got out-coached in that game.
I agree.
So, look, last year's game, 24-21 final, 49ers. I remember this. The Packers got the ball. They went right down the field, and they had a couple of mistakes, and they had to settle for a field goal. Because I remember thinking to myself, that's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah.
Then
Kid miss. Okay, sorry.
The 49ers scored, went up 7-3. They led 7-6 at halftime. Then the Packers scored a couple of more times in the third quarter. They led 21-14 going to the fourth quarter. Niners got a field goal to make it 21-17. They scored with a minute left to go up 24-21. Packers had the ball late. I think it was Jordan Love who threw an INT trying to come down and make a play. Never happened, but they were right there with them or ahead the entire time. And they were playing great football. Same thing as the Commanders.
And Kingsbury's on fire. He knows what to call every time and what play is going to work and how dangerous they are on fourth down.
How good is Jay Daniels?
Three games, no punts. They've done.
I mean, again, when you combine that, what was it? Mahomes, Allen, Montana, and like two other quarterbacks.
Brady was on there.
Combined to do it twice in their careers?
Yeah, he's done it 3 times.
3 times in 1 year.
Crazy, right? But the other thing is the rust angle. So going back the last 2 years, San Francisco comes off the bye, almost loses. Baltimore almost lost last year.
Well,
they were losing at halftime. Well, okay. They were losing at halftime. I'll say that.
Killed them in the
rusty.
second half.
Right. They were rusty. And then 2 years ago, you had the 49ers go into Green Bay and win. The block punt was huge. And you also saw Tennessee get taken out when McPherson couldn't miss. So that's what we've had the last couple of years.
It is. I'm glad that you said that, because if one of these teams, if the Chiefs or the Lions were to go down, like, we're going to act as if it's the biggest surprise of all time when 1 seeds have struggled in this spot several times going back throughout the years.
Mm-hmm. Mackinnon today. As we analyze the remaining teams, I note that in my NFL shared traits from past championships piece, my top teams from both conferences are Baltimore and Philly. My final strength power ratings updated post-18 showed the Ravens and Lions were the top teams expected to meet New Orleans in a few weeks. That said, with being off last week, Herter helped the Lions and what the Chiefs are dealing with. Mahomes hasn't thrown a pass since Christmas. 2 years ago, both top seeds, Green Bay and Tennessee, looked rusty and were quickly bounced. Since then, all 4 top seeds won their divisional round games. But it's been stressful, at least for a half. And certainly what happened with San Francisco as well.
Yeah. I mean, again, Detroit's a bigger favorite on the point spread and on the money line. I would be much more surprised if Houston goes to KC and wins than I would be if the Commanders go to Detroit and beat them. Mm-hmm. Also, what's the total if we get Baltimore or Detroit in the Super Bowl? Or if we get Buffalo, Detroit, as they've played already this year?
Isn't that open 52, close 57?
Yeah, it shot
50,
way, and it had every in-play number.
Oh, yeah. It's your big boy.
Yeah.
There's some great matchups out there. Okay, very good. How many people have led the type of life that Bob Uecker had? We lost Bob Uecker today, and what a story and what a resume.
I grew up in that state of Wisconsin, and I would fall asleep on the old transistor radio listening to Bob Uecker call Brewers games throughout the summertime. So he was the voice for my childhood growing up and listening to the Brewers play.
90 years old, still had it. How does he do it? How did he do it?
That's a great question.
Same with Brent Musburger, right? To still go out there and do it.
Sure.
And to be called play-by-play at that age. Hit 200 for his 6-year baseball career. Then, in 1969, he opened for Don Rickles in Atlanta. A talent scout was there and told Johnny Carson. Became one of Carson's favorite guests, over 100 appearances. The Miller Lite, and you see the statue outside the stadium. Someone put an unopened Miller Lite can in front of his statue. I must be in the front row.
Do you know how popular that saying was when we were younger?
Oh, huge.
I said it countless times. That, along with, I know you're going to get to this, but hey, just a bit outside.
Yeah, Major League, awesome. Harry Doyle, phenomenal Major League. Right.
I got to go back and watch the movie now.
Yep.
I think there's a chance he made the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the movie in 25 years, so I could be wrong on that. But he was outstanding in Major League.
Great on Letterman, great on Carson, great on baseball. He did World Series games with Costas.
That's right.
And Morgan. Also was on, 6 years on Mr. Belvedere, a TV show.
Good show. I liked it growing up. Do you remember him on Carson? We're a little bit young for that. You do remember him on Carson?
I do, yes.
I remember him more on Letterman.
Do you?
Yeah. I thought he was so good on Letterman.
Okay. Yep. I must be in the front row and... what a great job.
Those were making the rounds again today. He was so popular. The Brewers tweet had like 20,000 retweets today and 7 million views.
And the team loved them. And then when the celebration after they won, I think I peed my pants, he said. Foul-mouthed guy.
Oh, that's for sure.
The Artie Lang story. Artie Lang on Howard Stern, that when he met Artie Lang, he called him up in the booth and he would use the cough button. And he'd be that 2-2 fastball outside. Check out this girl walking up. And he would just get in the commentary.
The vulgarities were off the
mic.
Charts,
Right. This was Norm Macdonald years ago on David Letterman telling a Bob Uecker story.
Now, Norm, we're running out of time, but I would be remiss here if I didn't bring up something. People have been bothering me about this for months and months. People come on the show and they say, the next time you see Norm Macdonald, he's got some tremendous stories about the great Bob Uecker. Now, do you have a story you can tell us about Bob Uecker. Voice of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, Bob Uecker is one of my best friends. He's a great man. I know Artie told a story when he was here, and Bob was not too thrilled with that. But
it's Artie Lang you're talking
Artie
about.
Lang, yeah. But Bob is a very, very funny man, and I often go in the booth with him,
Oh, sure.
So one time we were there, and John Fogerty was in the audience. Mm-hmm. A fortunate son, So John Fogerty was there. So Bob Uecker is a very interesting guy. He thinks of everybody as the same. He doesn't think of people as stars or anything like that. He's a very down-to-earth guy. So he was talking to me. He says, "Hey, man, you know that guy?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's John Fogerty, rock and roll singer." So I go, yeah, I know who it is. He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "But I played in a golf tournament with him." He goes, "You probably think of him as some that likes to bite the heads off of chickens, but this guy can."
That's exactly how I think of him.
This guy can get it out of the sand trap like nobody's business. So he goes, he's got a hell of a set of pipes on him. He goes, come the seventh inning stretch, I'll have him up here. He'll sing for you. So I said, no, Bob, don't do that. Like, don't have him come up and sing for me, please. He goes, "What's matter, man? Don't you even know who he is?" He got all mad. So I go, "Yes, Bob, I know who he is. He did Creedence Clearwater Revival."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, he did all that."
He did all that bleep and bleep. Oh. Yeah, you'll probably think of him as some crazy bleep who bites the heads off of chickens. This guy can get it out of the sand trap like nobody's business.
So
That's
good.
Uecker. Yeah.
I went back and watched when Artie Lang was on there with Norm telling the story, when they met him, and Bob Uecker was pissed at Artie Lang for telling a story on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
And
what else he did on Letterman too, I guess. All right.
And they were explaining like he is like the dirtiest guy we've ever met in our entire life.
Yeah.
But they loved him. Artie Lang actually said he's the funniest guy I've ever met. And when Artie and Norm would still have conversations on the phone, they would spend the first 20 minutes doing Bob Uecker to each other.
Yeah, everything was an F-bomb.
But what a life.
Word. Oh, that resume.
What a life.
You know what it reminds me of? A little bit of Jesse Ventura.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Because Jesse Ventura was a Navy SEAL, professional wrestler, wrestling announcer, color analyst for the Minnesota Vikings and the Buccaneers. XFL, governor, actor, predator, running man. Make Cambodia look like Kansas. I mean, how about that resume?
Did he not teach a course at Harvard too?
I think he
or
did
am I
that
imagining
too.
that?
I think they also did that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We love you, Uke. God bless you, Uke. World's not the same without you. You're the kind of player who wants to drop $10,000 or more on an NFL line at the best price in the market. Or maybe you're looking for instant acceptance on your in-game bets. You need Sport Trade. $4 lines instead of the standard $10. Instant in-game betting live in Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, Virginia. Download Sport Trade today. Code VSIN. Got to be 21.
This is Follow the Money on VSIN.
The college basketball card tonight is littered with some of the best teams that have yielded really strong results going over the total on the season. A bunch of them are from the Summit League. In action tonight, North Dakota plays at South Dakota State. And this total was 155.5 earlier this morning. It's up a point and a half. And North Dakota is 12-4 to the over on the season. I looked at 4 different projections for the game tonight using various people, and one projection has 167, but all 4 of them have going over this number in the game. I played it over 155.5. Oral Roberts plays at South Dakota. This total was 172.5 earlier today. It came down a tick and is now sitting around 171.5. But using, again, guys who make projections on this, South Dakota is 89th in offense, 357th in defense, and 7th in pace. So that's a perfect combination, right? What a recipe. One of the worst defensive teams in the entire country, one of the fastest teams in the country, and Oral Roberts is number 360 in defense. And I'm seeing projections all the way up. A bunch of people have it in the 180s tonight. So I played that over The other game is Kansas City at North Dakota State. Was around 142.5 or 143 earlier today, but it has plummeted like a rock, and I kind of get it. Both of these teams take the air out of the ball. They are sub 300 in pace, and Kansas City is number 245 overall in offense, and projections have it right around this 142.5 number that was on the board earlier today, and so I'm not going to get involved with that one. I did play a little bit to have some fun tonight on the over with the other two games.
Okay. Let me run down the hockey quick before we get going here. Edmonton on a 17-2 run, goal in the first 10 on the road. Detroit 13-1 run overall. San Jose 7-1 on the road. Philly 9 in a row on the road. Blackhawks 9-1 overall. 11 straight first period overs. Seattle 8 in a row, goal in the first 10 games. Ottawa 8 straight unders. Devils 7 straight unders. Kings 5 straight unders. Detroit 7-1-1 to the over for the game. Flyers also 18-4, goal in the first 10 on the road. 8 in a row for Seattle, goal in the first 10 overall. And I mentioned the 9 in a row for Philly. And all these teams in action tonight on a good hockey card.
I don't know how many books offer a goal in the first 5. Circa has one up tonight on the Blackhawks. The yes was plus 180 on that one. Also, Circa's located in Illinois, so they take a lot of action on Blackhawks games. But they do have goal in the first 10 on all of them, and they're respectable. They're between like $1.25 and $1.50 from what I was looking at a little bit earlier. I think the Oilers game is minus 160 tonight. I played a little round robin action based on that one getting there last night to have some fun tonight. I took those 4 that you talked about and threw them on a round robin parlay.
Let's get this back. Coincide with the Sirius XM tomorrow.
That'd be great.
This is great. There's a lot of teams that are hitting right now. This is good.
Okay, so there's also a tremendous game in the NBA tonight. Now, you bet this. You had this in pocket yesterday. Oklahoma City -3. The number came down. There's no... Go. I'm sorry.
No. I was going to. I was just going to say again. First, got to go back to the early '70s when you got teams with this type of record playing this late in the season.
Oh yeah. And how cool is it that we had it last week and we're going to get it again tonight?
Yep. 34-5. Cavs on pace to win 71 games. OKC 33-6 on pace to win 69 games. ESPN gives Cleveland a 4% chance to get to 70 wins. They're $1.15 to have the best record of the All-Star break at DK. They're 14-1 to win 70. OKC's plus 750. Most wins for the year, OKC $1.45. Cleveland plus 140. Even without Hartenstein, as you mentioned, the fact that they are doing this, how good they are defensively, it's not fair. That you've had Chet for 10 games, maybe comes back in February, and you're number 1 in defense by a mile. Mm-hmm. The gap is they're giving up 102 points per 100 possessions. Number 1 in the league. Orlando number 2 at 107. The gap between OKC and Orlando is the same gap as from 2 to 13.
I'm wondering, by the way, how voters will look at Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Wembanyama's $5.
I know that, and it was recently $3. So will they take...
He had 8 blocks in the first quarter or something last night?
Will they take him based on just his overall numbers, or will they go like last year and say, no, we got to give it to the best player on the best team defensively?
Yeah, fair. Cleveland number 1 in offense. Worlds colliding. OKC number 6, Cleveland 6th in pace, though, and they dictated tempo in a fantastic game the last time where the shot making was incredible. As Windhorst was there, said it's some of the best 12 minutes of regular season basketball I've ever seen. But the similarities also to the 2014 Warriors team. You bring in the right coach to get the best out of these players of a great offense, 3 guys who can push the ball, Mobley taking a big leap, playing Mobley and Allen at the same time to coincide with what Garland gives you, and voila, you have the best record in a team that could be playing late basketball. Garland, number 1 in clutch field goal percentage this year. Last year, he was 104 out of 107.
That's amazing.
That is. They're number 1 in transition. They're number 1 in 2-point percentage. They're number 1 in 3-point percentage. They're number 1 in corner threes. They're number 1 in true shooting percentage. They're number 1 in clutch and end of games execution, and they have the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the league. That's also
pretty good.
So this is something, but still, I like the Thunder. Even though Mitchell was 3 of 11, he's going to bounce back tonight. But it was a supporting cast that was so good and led them in the big win at home. And I think the Thunder get even tonight.
I mean, you're going to look, when you break these two teams down, you're going to find just like incredible numbers from both sides. And when you go into the betting, perspective here, Cavaliers 13-4 ATS on the road, 3-0 as a road dog, both best in the league. However, the Thunder 12-5-1 ATS at home. That's the best mark. And they've been favored in every game, obviously. And that'll continue. as they already play Boston at home. So I can't imagine a team, unless they're going to be sitting 5 guys at some point, they're going to be dogs at home at any point this year.
What OKC is doing is incredible because you're laying in big numbers and it doesn't matter.
That's the most remarkable thing out of all of this.
They're covering all these big numbers.
Yeah, and by the way, when they open 10 in a game like Philadelphia and it closes 16 and they win by 16, technically they covered because there's a reason why that number moved. So I know the closing number is 16, so it gets graded as a push. Come on. There was enough money to move it 6 points. That tells me that I'm going to grade that one as a win.
Absolutely. I grade on the openers. That's shenanigans. Anything else? I like the Kings tonight. They just beat Houston in December. They've been a different team since they let Mike Brown go and brought in Christie.
Right.
Beat the Celtics on Friday. You knew Milwaukee would bounce back, though, after getting humiliated, and that's what happened. But I know it's a young team, but it's a back-to-back for Houston as they were in Denver last night, and they played Denver, who was shorthanded, as Joker was out.
I'm going player props in this game, and it's not Jalen Green threes. I've been writing that now for several games in a row for him. His last 6 games, 32 points per game, 11 3-point attempts, 5.3 makes. He's shooting the ball lights out. However, when you go to look at his game log back-to-back, he's shooting around 31%, and he's only been over 3.5 made threes in one back-to-back out of 7 or 8 games on the year. So not going to go with him. I did go with Malik Monk. Part of the reason why I think the Kings were so good after the switch, getting rid of Mike Brown and going to Doug Christie as head coach, offensively, he flipped things a little bit, put Malik Monk into the starting lineup. He was not in the game against the Bucks the other night during that big loss for them. But during that big winning streak, Malik Monk was in the starting lineup, playing a ton of minutes and operating as the point guard. So I bet over 5.5 assists tonight at plus 110, switching it up a little bit from the 3-point props and going that way with him. And again, I said this earlier in the show, the Suns are laying 11.5. They're the worst team against the spread. You might have to hold your nose a little bit because they are playing the worst team in basketball.
How about Toronto?
But that's the thing, right? I mean, Toronto's also they're good at covering numbers, not good overall. They won the game outright. Mm-hmm. And I watched the game. They led pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
So I'd look at Jordan Poole, but the number's not right for me tonight to go over 3s. I wanted, so number's not good. I'm not going to bet it. I'm not going to force it.
All right, getting ready for Big Game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber. Bet smarter all year long. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, the dog videos, all the betting guides. VSiN.com/subscribe, promo code FTM. Save $59 off today. VSiN.com/subscribe.
We need to set reminders in our phone, every day when the Clippers are going to play at home, just to take a peek at the opposing team total, right? Because last night it was around 100 for the Nets, and they were coming off that win against Portland where they scored 120 plus. They scored 67 points last night. And now teams playing at the Intuit Dome are 14-4 under their total. And a lot of the games are not even close. And I saw something that when opposing teams are shooting free throws against the wall, if you extrapolate that out for the whole season, it would be the second worst free throw shooting percentage against in any home arena in the entire league.
It comes into play this weekend. They play the Lakers, who've yet to play there, if memory serves, and then they play the Bulls.
Well, and the fans will be extra fired up when the Lakers are there.
Oh, God, they play Boston Wednesday, too. Woo!
It's good.
Then Washington, then Milwaukee. That's 5 in a row.
Oh, okay.
That should be 5 in a row where it's the team's first trip in there.
Perfect. We will get to our in-pocket plays, best bets for the night coming up here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're out.
All right, Thunder with revenge tonight on national TV on TNT. Line came down after the Hartenstein news, laying 3 against Cleveland. A ton of props already out. Good stuff, creative stuff for the divisional round. Every team has a rushing touchdown, 20-1. They'd take a big hit if Mixon doesn't play, who's now questionable with an ankle. Every team to kick a field goal, plus 250. All teams touchdown and a field goal, 6-1 as well. There's a lot of good stuff up there with this. And if you think there's going to be fireworks, you can go each day too. And there could be fireworks on Sunday with those games too. Kings laying 4 tonight against the Rockets, fading the Rockets on a back-to-back. And Will Howard to be the title game MVP, $1.10. Different ways to attack this hedge if you have futures, but yeah, you can make the case for Smith, although he didn't do anything against Texas. Paul Stone, by the way, is at 6 in a row. Good job on the Smith under. He had 1 catch, but he's $1.80 of most receiving yards in the game. If Ohio State wins, I think he's going to have good numbers and good enough numbers that they're going to say, okay, well, Will Howard's going to be the guy. He's $1.10 right now.
Mm-hmm. I want to know what's going to happen in that game with Chip Kelly and the play calling if Notre Dame gets up like 13-3 late second quarter. Do they lose their minds? Panic? Go into full-blown panic mode? Hurry-up mode?
You'd come out and throw. Come out and get it to Smith right away, right? Yeah. I do agree with Brad Powers. I mean, it's been said by many. I think they were getting ready to run out Texas with the silly Henderson penalty and constantly putting themselves in 1st and long.
3-point props last night. Jalen Green over 3.5 plus 130. That was good. Guy's awesome. Boy, oh boy, is he good. That went over no problem. Did you see what happened here? Anthony Edwards over 3.5 plus 105.
I wasn't strong enough on that. Curry has owned the Timberwolves. He had 4 threes in the first quarter. Like the first 7 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
What did he hit last night overall?
I think he had 7.
Did he? Okay,
he hit the game winner, but he started 4 of 4. They were up 25 points in the first quarter. Yeah.
Wolves came roaring back. Edwards hit a 3 with 1 second left to put it on 4.
Oh, really?
So, look. Yeah, I'll take it any which way I can get it. Half unit plays last night. Kansas plus 5.5. That was no good, but the under came in again. They're 15-1 at the under.
15-1 under. Every Kansas game's gone under but 1.
We need a deep dive into the second halves. I think that's the actual play because they made it 77.5 last night. No chance. No chance. But also, Iowa State I'm very disappointed in Bill Self this year. On paper in the offseason, they were number 1 for a reason, and it is not working with Kansas this year.
Yep, no doubt.
That's a tough spot to play. I get it, and Iowa State's very good. To get blown out by 17, no.
You're right. How good is that team? They lost a close one against Auburn. That's in a game they led big.
They are up by 16 in that game.
Yeah.
And that's it. Pending, Ravens plus 106 at Buffalo, and Ohio State plus 115 to win the national title for tonight's plays. And this week, I grabbed 9.5 receiving yards over P. Ryan, minus 113. And the Mixon news came out right after Paul Charchian had a great breakdown on it earlier in our show. I bet him under 59.5 rushing yards. Tonight, got to do it. Blackhawks Predators, first period over 1.5, laid minus 1. I bet it at minus 135. Then saw it again at minus 118, so I bet it there minus 118. 11 straight. Let's go. Come on. Let's get it to 12 tomorrow when we hop back on Sirius XM.
Perfect timing.
And I just told you about this bet, previous segment. Malik Monk over 5.5 assists plus 110. He's averaging 7+ since the switch to Doug Christie at head coach, and he's in the starting lineup playing a lot more point guard. So, let's go.
Check me out on X at Pauly Howard with a Y. I retweeted Ian Duncan with all the hot numbers and trends in the NHL with the first 10. Overall, home road splits. He does a great job. Ready to take your tailgate to the next level? Try Sewell's Barbecue. Born from a backyard cookout in a mason jar of unforgivable flavor, Sewell's has become a Southern favorite, delighting taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas. From smoky ribs and mouth-watering wings to the perfect backyard burger, Sewell's turns every bite into a flavor-packed experience. Order now, Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Flavor this good. Just a click away. We love it. Had it on air last week. Phenomenal. Southern hospitality never tasted so good. Go get Sewell's. Prop idea. How many SEC teams will make the Elite Eight or even Final Four? Could they have 4 of the 8?
In the Elite Eight?
My question to Dallin Cuff wasn't, oh boy, this is a bad move by the committee. I said it's a conundrum. They definitely deserve it. It's a great league. I'm saying what it's going to mean from a seeding standpoint. Because they might have the 1, the 2, and the 3 seed in all these regions. or at least a 1 and the 2.
Yeah, they're going to.
Because you look at this, Lenardi last week had 13 teams in there, and then how we broke it down with a Z curve, where this team was, Auburn a 1, Tennessee a 1 or a 2, Florida a 1 or a 2, Kentucky a 1 or a 2. I mean, it was ridiculous going. And Missouri was a 10 going into that game.
Well, now what are they after they beat Florida?
Right, sure. And they're up 15 at the half on the road.
How are you going to avoid second-round matchups in the SEC?
Yeah, right. If you get 13 teams in?
I don't think it's going to happen.
And they're so good?
By the way,
a good prop, though. How many make the Elite Eight? How many make the Final Four?
I know it's a football weekend tomorrow. We might want to mention this on the show when the point spread and stuff comes out. Alabama plays at Kentucky on Saturday morning.
Oh, the total.
That's at, oh, yeah, absolutely the total.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
That's your big
Where's
boy.
that bad boy going to go?
Yeah.
So that's how the day begins before we get football. That's at noon Eastern, 9 o'clock out here.
Okay, excellent. FTM@vsin.com or tweet at us. Brian Young. We shared that Bitcoin story earlier. A guy was denied last week by a judge.
Yeah.
He had $700 million in Bitcoin on his laptop, and it was in a landfill, and they wouldn't let him go get it. I worked in the waste industry for close to 22 years now. Currently work for Waste Management, and I'll be at the tournament. This guy trying to find a hard drive in a landfill that was buried over a decade ago would be near impossible. They change areas where to dump, which are called cells. Once the cell is full, they close it and move the cell that will be open, which means where this was dumped could even have more trash on it, or it's completely buried. The government should let them try to find it, but it'll be finding a needle in a haystack. He says he's got robots and all this, and he can track it down, and he's got, just give me a couple days. I can do it. I know I can do it.
You would need an army of people.
Oh, I know. But going back to 2009, he had 7,000, whatever it was, and over $700 million, and he threw the laptop. And
so again, that's 16 years ago now.
Yeah,
I don't at this point, but he tried for more than a decade.
He's been trying. They won't let him go in
there.
Over
and over and over again. And the judge said, by the way, Ken Palm makes Kentucky, Alabama 90-89.
Okay. It was 106-100 in regulation. Kentucky, Florida.
You know what? Here's a bet. That, and you can find this. I bet if you can parlay the team totals for both teams there to go over 99.5 points. Just like the game did they just brought up against Florida. And maybe that game is 111 to 104. And it's just up and down ping pong match the entire time, and both teams score triple digits.
Yeah.
Be a good payout. Where are you at overall with updated TV shows?
I'm behind. I hear Landman lives up to the hype, everyone says. It was a great season.
I got to get on that. Episode 1 was awesome.
It's funny, Shauna went back to visit family in Arizona, and she said Lioness is awesome.
Looks terrific.
You got into that? Yep, I'm on that. I'm caught up. I finished Squid Game 2.
And?
Not bad. Season's 1's better.
Okay.
I'm excited for Severance. It is tonight? Oh, season 2's tonight. Can't wait.
Well, good time. No football for the first time on a Thursday since who knows when.
I'm missing some, too. The Agency looks good with Fassbender. That's another one.
Love that guy. He's
way
great.
behind.
So
way behind.
You never watched Dexter, and I get it. Some people, it wasn't their cup of tea. And I thought his sister was annoying to begin things when I first started watching. Then she grew on me, as did the rest of the cast. I now finally am caught up on Dexter Original Sin.
Oh.
So it's the prequel. This is no hyperbole. The casting and the people they found to play the roles who were in the original Dexter on Showtime, it's as good as I've ever seen. They have it down pat. Masuka, his laugh is exactly like the guy in the original. Deb comes across with the same cadence and the swear words as the original. The guy who plays Dexter has his mannerisms down perfect. LaGuardia is Christina Milian. She's a spitting image of the original LaGuardia and has the accent down. I mean, it's just every single person is phenomenal. And so far, 6 seasons in, I have enjoyed the entire. It's dynamite. If you like the original Dexter, I would tell you got to go back and watch Original Sin, Paramount Plus.
Send them in. I think we're missing some too.
Oh my!
There's a lot of great stuff.
Again,
out
how do you
there.
keep up?
Yeah, I haven't watched Ring of Tower or whatever it's called, season 2 either on Amazon yet. All right, stay tuned. Coming up, VSiN Primetime, Murray and Humans. Derek Stevens on tonight. Stick around, cashing out Joe Seralu, 11 p.m. Eastern. Wake up tomorrow, an expanded 3-hour VSiN by the books with Dave Ross, 7 a.m. And we hit it hard tomorrow. We are back. Sirius XM channel 158 tomorrow. Iron Eagle, Sal Pal, Samich, Derek Stevens, playoffs, props, divisional round. Can't wait. And hopefully some more winners in hockey.